What's up, everybody? Graham here with
Autumn.
And tonight we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about creating and holding individuality within your relationship.
Yes.
And the reason we want to talk about this is because we have a long distance relationship ourselves. San Francisco to Philadelphia, it's about 3,000 miles. And we definitely have our fair share of tidbits and tit-tats here and there, of course. Now, with that said, I think that one thing we've been able to do at a really high level is keep our individuality within our relationship. And that is what we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah. Individuality is not spoken about often. A lot of times we talk about like, oh, what about if you're like falling out of love with a person, or like, how do I know if they're cheating or not? Like, it's like little things like that, but just individuality is so important, and I think that that's like the root source of like issues that we have in relationships. So for example, with individuality, the whole entire purpose is just to keep your separate existence. So him being his full self, doing his purpose, POG, and then me, Tall Magazine, mental health, that I love so much.
Right, we each have our own companies, FYI.
Oh, yeah.
She was just saying.
Yeah, so just making sure that we're not deviating from our own paths. And that's something that I've done in my relationships in the past, where I give my all to the person that I'm with, my time and like energy and love, and then I'm like, oh my god, like they left me and now I'm depressed and now I'm sad and I don't know what to do with myself after we break up, because I've given them everything I could, and I feel like I've lost so much because I didn't pursue my own path and purpose. And like, it's weird because when you're doing that, like, you're doing it, but you just keep doing it. I don't really know why that is, but I feel like a lot of women can relate to that, and not to be sexist, but men can too. I think that it's just men don't talk about it as much as women do, and women are just more vocal with how they're feeling. But a lot of women, I notice visually, because like I said, men don't really say these kind of things, but it'd be nice if they did. You feel kind of empty after a relationship, and the thing is you feel that way because you just weren't being your full self, or maybe you weren't whole beforehand. And it's not like you literally like lose a limb, like you're just not being your full true self. And keeping that in your relationship can help you to almost like protect yourself in a very healthy way, to where if this relationship goes south, you're still good because you still followed your desires and your dreams, and you didn't put them on hold for the person that you're with. So that's pretty much what this whole conversation is about. So.
And building on top of that, I think Autumn hit on a lot of really good points, especially I think what she was talking about with keeping your individuality as a healthy way to protect yourself. I think that that's really powerful. And I think going back even just a little bit further as a precursor to that, and then we'll talk a little bit about our relationship and what we did and how we executed on this. But I think it all really starts at the beginning of the relationship. Like, what are your expectations coming into the relationship? Are you expecting Autumn to be there for your every beck and call? Are you expecting Autumn to give up her career so that you can pursue yours? Are you expecting Autumn to transform her entire lifestyle to fit yours? Right? Because if you're doing that, then what you're doing is you're putting her in a position where immediately she feels like she has to conform to your way of being, right, to your lifestyle, which puts stress and friction on the relationship to begin with. And if you never express this to her overtly at the beginning, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z to be in a relationship with me, then she's now unaware of this fact and feels kind of taken advantage of. So there's a million scenarios like that happen in everyday life. I actually talk to all my clients about this, but being upfront with your expectations to start is arguably the most important thing in a relationship. Now, where is all this going as far as individuality is concerned? Well, when you're upfront in the relationship, Autumn can say, hey, I want a long distance relationship, and the only way this is going to happen is if I'm truly committed to you and you're truly committed to me. That means that we are both there for each other, and we are both supporting one another in the pursuit of our own dreams, our own goals, our own ambitions. When we come together and we do our time, it's our time, right? So there needs to be, in that way, compromises that allow us to be on the same page while still pursuing our paths and our dreams, so that, like Autumn said, we can protect ourselves and be healthy and whole. Now, with all that said, Autumn, would you mind telling everybody a little bit about how we've done that in our relationship?
So this whole thing actually came across because I was noticing, I was like, hey, knock on the door, like, you're not giving me as much time as I'm giving you, it's like, what's going on here? You're always working on your company, and like, I get that. And I was like, what's going on? And I was like, okay, well, this guy's not budging. Like, usually in my past relationships, it would be like, I still have my thing going. I'd kind of slack off on it, put it to the side, but like, I still have it running. And then this person's like doing the same. So it's like we're both obsessively in love with each other. And I was like super used to that. And he didn't do that. And it was hurting me that he wasn't doing that. And I was like, this guy is not loving me. All right. So I got to end it because he's just not loving me. But that wasn't it. He was basically just being he's very true to himself. So he's always been like his individual self in this relationship. And for me, I came in with the old mindset. And so one day I sat down and there was like a huge issue that we had, like an insecurity type thing that I had. And I wrote down on paper, I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know why I keep thinking like this. I'm having stupid thoughts that he's probably effing around because he's not spending time with me and like calling me, stuff like that. And you have to write down, what I did was I wrote down 3 different columns: what I can control, what I can influence, and what I can't control. And that came from a guy named Steve Watton. He wrote a book called Head First. You guys should go check it out. It's really great.
Shout out to Steve.
Yeah. We know him. He's really nice. I wrote that down. I wrote down what I can control, I can't control, and what I can influence. And once I wrote that down, I had also realized a fear that I had within me. So basically, like, if this person leaves, I fear the feeling that I would get in the past of just feeling so empty after you have broken up with someone. But then also, it's weird because for me, I would get that, but at the same time, I'd be like, oh my God, I can do whatever I want because I'm out of a relationship now. And I was like, well, I want that feeling, but in my relationship and in a healthy way. And I was like, one thing that I've always done is kind of blend myself with that person instead of realizing that it's 2 people just coming together, but we're still 2 different people, 2 separate existences. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take the risk and I'm just going to love myself in this relationship. I'm going to keep my individuality. I'm going to keep my separate purpose. I'm going to fulfill my purpose. I'm going to do my entire company, like, business plan, just keep going, but still love him, but be fully in myself before I'm fully in him. And like, I felt like I was risking my relationship, just, us breaking apart, because I never did that before. It was a huge risk, obviously, and so I did it, and I feel like it's like the best thing I've ever done because I feel so much more confident. I feel me, and I love that because I don't feel like I'm dependent on that person. I hate that, by the way. Not in like a way like, oh my God, F men. Like, no, I love him so much, but like, it's not I'm not clingy or anything like that. Like, I feel like clinginess comes with that too. Often, like, when people fall out of love in a relationship, you either grow apart or you lose your individuality. Your sense of confidence is gone, and that's what originally attracted that person to you in the first place. So with me being in myself, my full self, it keeps like a spark in a relationship because I'm just me, Hell
yeah.
So
First thing I want to say is shout out to you for being vulnerable.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Really took a lot of guts to say all that stuff. The second thing I'll say is to add on to what Autumn was saying from my perspective, especially in the middle there when she was talking about how she felt like, hey, this guy isn't loving me enough. You have to understand from my perspective, I'm still talking to her more than anyone else in my life and more than any girlfriend I've ever spoken to again in my life, right? So I felt like on my end, hey, I'm giving you the most I can give you without feeling like I'm sacrificing who I am. But that's the beauty of a relationship, is that at any given time, one person is going to lead the other in different ways. There have been plenty of things that Autumn has been like, Graham, you need to try this on, and plenty of things where I've been like, hey, I'm going to stand fast and hold to my individuality, and therefore it puts her in a position where she needs to grow, get out of her comfort zone, and then realize that she has her own individuality. And in the process of that, realizing that we're both, again, 1 and 1 equals 2, versus her coming so close to me that I kind of want to repel that away from me, right? So being in that position from my perspective, it was really amazing to see that adjustment. And as soon as that adjustment's happened, so much more has come from this relationship, right? Our time together is so special. And since we don't get to see each other every single day, like we get to see each other in spurts, like 2-week spurts every like 4 to 6 weeks, it makes our time together really powerful. But even still, when we're together, we're still able to do our individual things that we want to do. If Autumn wants to do her morning routine, go do your morning routine. You don't necessarily need to do your morning routine with me to be successful. In fact, I really believe that everyone needs to spend a certain period of the time a day by themselves so they can be most authentic and true to themselves. So long story short, guys, as far as individuality and relationship is concerned, I think that Autumn just did a really great job of expressing how insecurity can lead to a place where you're getting too close. And then from my perspective, me being authentic to who I am and staying individually true to who I am, put Autumn in position where she could be individually true to her and see that there's nothing to be afraid of if we've both made a commitment to each other at the beginning. Hey, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want it to be long-term, and I want it to be a commitment. Now, Autumn has a company, I have a company. We're both committed individuals to begin with. So committing to each other, all we had to do was just give each other the right expectations, keep our individuality, and continue this pace, keep up with the communication, and things should be, in theory, quite good. Now, there's always a million things, a million variables that are going to come up, but I think as far as individuality is concerned, the best way, we should show what we think is the best way for individuality in a relationship to finish it up. All right. So for me, what I think as far as individuality is concerned, the best way for you to keep it in a relationship is do things that are true to who you are consistently. Because what it's going to do is it's going to put you in a position where you're growing and becoming the person you want to be, and it's going to expose the other person. They're either going to show up and be like, I'm going to be the best I can be, or they're going to show their insecurities of, oh, you're not giving me enough time, or
you changed. That's a big one.
Or you changed, right? Which is not the truth. You're just becoming more of who you are, right? So being able to be true to who you are will expose the other person for who they are, good or bad, which will help your relationship and understand the identity of it, whether it's something that's good for you long term or not. What do you think?
For me, I don't know. It wasn't like a one type of thing. Like, dang, like all my individuality came back. I'm on top of the world. It's something that I actually have to work on every single day, and I just have to consistently remind myself that the definition of individuality is to keep your separate existence. And so when I have that in my head, like, and I picture it and I visualize it, I'm just like thinking, okay, separate existence. But this does not mean that I don't love him, because that was something that I always kind of thought in my head, that if I keep my separate existence, it means that we're like, that's interesting. It's like an open relationship, or like I don't love it. Like, I love him so much, and that's not it at all. So I have to, in the beginning when I first started, like, you know, keeping my individuality, I had to keep reminding myself that I wasn't stepping out on this person. I wasn't even flirting. I hardly actually talk to people daily. I should do that more. I actually do that more. But that it's something that I work on every single day. And the way that I work on it is just to write down like the goals that I have for myself, my company, and then my relationship, and like fulfilling those like action-based type of goals, and not just I want to do this like a huge goal. It's like an action towards that big goal instead. That's what helps me. Like, just whether I'll like challenge myself not to call him right away, or like don't call him at 9. I do it every night, but let me just like kind of back off and just like read to fulfill myself. And it's not being like super conceited or self-absorbed. I'm just like putting in my self-care and my time for myself, because if I nourish myself, then I'm good for him. If I don't do that, I'm not good for him, and like we're gonna get in a huge little tidbit. It's just not gonna be good. So yeah, just basically like writing down goals that you have for yourself, for like your business, company, your job, whatever it is, and then your relationship. But don't focus on just your relationship, because a lot of times when we're in a relationship, we focus so much on it that we forget everything else. And I really feel like relationships, I'm not getting off topic, I really feel like relationships, it's not just about what happens in this relationship, but everything outside of it that kind of, you like bring it to that relationship. And if I don't focus on my company and myself, it's going to all come into my relationship. So I need to be great in these areas so I can be great in this area, you know? So
you have to be great for yourself before you can be great for another.
Yeah.
Very simply put, that's individuality. We should have spared ourselves 15 minutes. With that said, I think that she did a great job of explaining that. I love the way that she goes about doing it. I think that's fantastic. From my perspective, I just do what I feel intuitively to be true for me. So if that means go to the gym, if that means silent reflection, if that means meditation, if that means, hey, I love you, but I need space right now, then I just am honest and truthful with those things. And it's up to her to be in a place where she feels comfortable enough to say, hey, maybe I need to work on myself a little more too. It's okay if this person wants a space because it's going to make him a better boyfriend, which is what I really want, right? So by being true to who you are, it actually allows the other person and gives them the leeway to be true to who they are so they can be true to you. And I think that is what we're talking about when we're talking about individuality. So with that said, Super grateful for you guys if you tuned in and watched to this point. Obviously, this is our first video that we've shot together on YouTube, and there are going to be many more because I think that we're a dynamic duo, and I think we just crushed it, and I'm really excited for that.
Amen.
Additionally, she's also super sweet and adorable, and I think you guys can get around that and get behind that, so we out here. And with that said, guys, if you found this video at all interesting or you found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up below and let us know that you thought so. And if you have questions, please comment them below. We would love to answer them in depth. Again, I'm a coach. I do mind, body, spirit coaching, helping people live their most authentic and true lives for themselves, helping to awake the infinite potential within themselves. And Autumn, what do you do?
I am the editor-in-chief of a mental health magazine that's international, which I'm so happy about. It's called TOI Magazine, TOI. If you type in TOI Magazine on YouTube, you'll find it. On Google, you'll find it. It's pretty awesome. We talk about trauma and like just any type of mental health disorder. Things about like life obstacles too. We cover all of that. So yeah, that's what I do. That's
so
awesome.
More or less, we're both in a similar field where we're helping people grow mentally, at least mentally, physically, spiritually, etc., in one way, shape, or form. And so this kind of stuff obviously is right up our alley, especially with relationships. We're both looking to be the best that we can possibly be for ourselves. We can be the best we can possibly be in the relationship, and therefore we want to answer your questions, right? We want to be involved in the community that's going to be cultivated here, and we're really interested to hear your thoughts and ideas, and we really hope that this video brought some light to something that you may have struggled with in the past.
But if you have ever experienced in a relationship that you've been in, when you've lost yourself, if you ever feel like you've lost yourself in a relationship, comment yes or no to just see like how, so everyone can see that it's not just you and you're not alone when that happens. Yeah. And to know that that's not like, you're not a horrible person because you've done that. It's okay to do that because a lot of times we're not actually taught how to be in a relationship. Like that's something that people don't really talk about. A lot of times, like not everyone has both their mom and dad in the home, and sometimes the mom and dad are in the home and they're fighting. Like based on my experience and people that I've interviewed, a lot of people don't have that, and it's nice that you do have that, but even then sometimes it's still not talked about. So just let people know if you've ever went through a point where you felt like you lost yourself in a relationship. Just comment yes or no, and then you can kind of see like, hey, it's not just me, and it's okay, and you can make progress from there. So that's all, you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. And
hell yes. And the last thing I'm going to say is, just so you guys are aware, I'm also going to leave a link below to a Facebook group. It's called Team Growth. It's all about personal development, positivity, all with like-minded individuals who think this kind of stuff is interesting and want to apply it to their lives. So if you want to be involved in that, just click the link and join. Otherwise, much love. Talk to you guys soon. Peace, peace, okay? Adios.